Hey everybody, just want to do a quick unboxing of the X8SIL combo and just show you what to expect when you order one. These are going for $75 or best offer right now on eBay, and they're a pretty sweet deal. I was able to pick them up for 60 bucks. Some people are picking them up now for 67, $68, depends. There's been a spike in demand, so the price has gone up a little bit. But when you get it, it comes in a pretty decent sized box. They actually package the IO shield separately for everything else. There's a little bubble. Put that aside for now. So this is totally not important, but they use this really nice bubble wrap that they actually don't tape at all, but it's almost self-adhesive, so it kind of sticks to itself. And I don't know, just a nice touch. I don't have to worry about cutting tape or anything like that just to open the thing. I'm going to cut right now and unwrap this because I only have one free hand at the moment. I'm going to hold the camera, so just we'll cut and then you'll see the motherboard itself. So after unwrapping all that, I counted at least 8 layers of the smaller bubble wrap and at least 2 layers on each side of the larger one. This thing is insanely well packaged, and for me it came all the way from California across to the East Coast, so I can't imagine there would be any problems. Comes in a regular anti-static bag, and everything's pre-assembled. So for those of you kind of nervous about building, you don't really have to do anything out of the box. Everything's kind of ready to go. Just have to get your power supply, plug it in, and install everything in the case. The last one I had came with Samsung memory. Let me see what this one comes with. This one is Micron, which is equally as good. So that's awesome. So you got 4 sticks. Sorry, the camera's not focusing. Four sticks, 2 gigs each, 8 gigs total of DDR3 UCC, 2 rank memory, and I guess we'll do a short little board overview. So the board itself has 3 X8 PCI Express slots. The first one here has a little bit of a notch cut out, so you can use full-size PCI Express cards. There's actually enough room so you can put a full 16 X16 card in here. And I have a couple of videos coming up on that later. You have 1 PCI slot, 4 SATA 3. Although there's connectors for another 2, there's no actual physical ports there. So some of these boards will come with 6, some will come with 4. Just count on it only coming with 4 because there's no specification in the eBay listing whether it's 6 or 4. I'm 99% sure that you're going to get one that has 4 ports. There's only 1 onboard USB physical port. Some of the Supermicro boards have 2, but this one only has 1, and there is a 2-port USB header for like your front case expansion. If your case doesn't have one, you can actually just buy one and it goes to like an empty PCI slot. There's no onboard audio. At the back here we have dual NIC, no IPMI, which would be right above this USB guy here, and VGA, COM port, PS2 mouse and keyboard. Make sure your power supply has a 4-pin CPU connector. Make sure it has an 8-pin CPU connector. This one's the full 8-pin. This X3470 that's underneath here does take up quite a bit of power under full load. I'm pretty sure it'll work with just a 4, but better to have an 8 just in case, and then of course your regular 24 pin. Board is pretty simple. There's not a whole lot going on here. I'm going to flip it around. They've got the fan wire kind of tucked around nicely here. There's 4 fan headers. They're all 4-pin PWM. So you have 2 here, 1 here, and then 1 here. And your front panel connector for your case is here. The first 2 pins on the left are power. The next 2 are the reset pin, and then there's also hard drive LED, NIC 1 LED, NIC 2 LED, and then power LED, and then the speaker's in there somewhere too. I'm not really sure where, but that's all covered in the manual. The CPU cooler is a Dynatron with a 60mm fan. This fan is a server grade fan, and it spins really freaking fast, and it's very loud, but it moves a ton of air for its size. The first thing I would do is go into the BIOS and go to the PC health settings and put the fan on energy saving mode, and that'll tone the fan down a lot. You won't even hear it. You might hear a little bit of vibration from the fan against the metal part here from the motor, but once you're inside a case you won't even hear it, and it'll ramp up and down as it needs to. But as far as cooling goes, this is really kind of this cooling unit is kind of pushing the limits as to, like, it's barely adequate, I would say, for the X3470. It's pretty great if you're running in like a rack mount and you have a lot of forced airflow coming this way, and but you know, if, like, for those of us that are going to be using it in a NAS, it should be okay. I doubt that you'll be running your NAS at 100% CPU at any given point, but just keep in mind that you know, it's adequate, but your processor will run a little toasty. There's a couple different options you can go for CPU cooler upgrades, and they're not too expensive. I'll go over that in a little bit in a future video. One thing that you might not be used to is the RAM slots are actually facing perpendicular to the backplane, whereas on most regular motherboards they're facing sort of this way instead of this way. That's just for airflow, assuming that this would be in like a server setup. You know, you have the airflow going through the channels of the RAM. The other thing is, didn't even talk about the processor. Processor is an Intel X3470 Xeon 2.93 base clock with 3.6 gigahertz turbo on all 4 cores, and it is hyper-threaded, so it does have 8 cores, or 4 cores with 8 threads. So it's pretty capable. It gets about 6,000 pass mark. The X3470 is the best CPU that you can get for this setup. So the fact that it already comes with it is great, but just keep in mind that if you want to upgrade, you'd be looking to upgrade at minimum the motherboard and the processor. You might be able to use this heatsink on socket 1155 or 1150, but if you go to 1366 or 2011, you won't be able to use this heatsink. So keep that in mind. The RAM you'll probably be able to salvage, but yeah, just keep that in mind. But I mean, the long story short is that it's only $60 or $65 or $67 for this whole combo, and you're really not going to find any better performance or anything better for the price. So gonna be doing a lot more videos on this setup. I just wanted to do a quick overview and show you what you get out of the box, and yeah, just look for more in the future.